Now, if you're still struggling to manifest your goals, it could be you're trying to think your dreams into reality instead of feeling the wish fulfilled. Today's guest brings a unique, no-nonsense voice to that exact puzzle. He's on YouTube. In fact, his YouTube channel is titled The Science of Miracles. He's crossed 11,000 subscribers and over 2 million views across an incredible 3,633 videos. How do you do it? He's also a powerhouse right here on Substack with over 6,000 subscribers. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Mr. 2020. Welcome, mate.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Michael. Michael Motorcycle. How are you?
I'm doing well, and all the better for seeing you right here on Substack. Now, 20, you've helped thousands, you've coached thousands and helped thousands in this concept of feel it real, Neville Goddard's teachings, manifestation, etc. I'm curious now, what is, in all that experience over your years, what is the absolute number one reason you've found people fail at applying feel it real?
Wow. You know, if you asked me this a year ago, if you asked me this 15 years ago, I'd answer you different. And I had this awesome chiropractor. His name was Tim Allison. And Tim Tim was a box on the wall guy. Old-fashioned, old-school chiropractor. You would have loved him. He wanted everyone to get a chiropractic adjustment. Everyone. So he didn't take health insurance. He just took cash. And he had a mailbox on his wall in his office. And you'd show up and you'd put 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, $100 in there, and he'd adjust you. You show up as often as you want, in and out in 5 minutes. And Tim's biggest thing was, he wants to see you different. If you keep showing up with the same problem, you got a problem. But if he's adjusting you, and over time you keep showing up different, that means you're alive. And so here we go, right? People start with problems, which has them start with goals. Mike, I got a problem. Don't have enough monies. I got a goal to make 20 grand a month, 20 grand a year, whatever it is. And Neville Goddard taught something called the Four Mighty Ones. And this is years and years ago. It's my favorite lecture. We've been doing some really cool stuff with this for about 2 years, full time on this one. But the Four Mighty Ones begin with the producer. The producer always approaches everything with wouldn't it be cool? Now, I suspect you don't have a problem getting guests for your show. You're a professional and you're a good guy and you put yourself out there. So I'm not solving a problem for you. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because you and I have danced before with possibility. And if I meet a hot chick, Victoria, and I say, hey, I'm going to get a coffee. You want to join me? That's called a possibility. And this is how all of life works. And so if we begin with a problem, we will turn a desire into a goal, and it just gets sideways from there. Which leads us to one other little bit, then I'll hand you the stick back, I promise. In the 12 Disciples, one of my other absolute favorite Neville Goddard lectures. I actually wrote a book on it, right? 2 books, but that's the crass commercial and we're done with that. In the 12 Disciples, the disciple of Bart, I always think of Bart Simpson. Bart teaches us that your desires are gifts from God. They're gifts, Mike. And I want more people to know about this. One of my desires is happy, loving teacher. And I love doing chats like this with people like you, as you know. And so I've got a desire. That desire is a gift from God, not a goal. If it was a goal, I'd be, dear Mike, this is my AI letter trying to persuade you to put me on your show. It would suck because goals make us work, and goals require work. But if we can just notice, and again, I notice this with people. You keep exploring your gift to the world. Everything you write and do has to do with your gift to the world, how you want to give to the world. So your desire to give to the world is how you give. So God gives you the desire to do these cool little shows with cool people, and you surrender to that desire, that gift, you make it yours. You reach out to me and I go, hell yeah, man, this is good fun. Me and my buddy chatting again. And the giving compounds. So this is my number one thing. If we start with a problem, we convert it into a goal. If we start with a gift, a possibility, Mike, wouldn't it be cool if we had a chat? That's how you reached out. Hey, 20, wouldn't it be cool if we had a chat? Yes. When can we do it? Now. And here we are.
Fantastic, Twitty. And there's a few things that you've mentioned there that we could go down a path on. What I'm going to be, all right, I'm going to be somewhat controversial because you mentioned God. Now,
Yes, sir.
just that three-letter word brings up all sorts of different, right? You're with me.
Sure
You're
does.
ahead of me. Now, Neville Goddard, now you tell me, Neville Goddard says God is your
Right.
own wonderful
Human
human
imagination.
imagination. Now,
Yes.
for the devoted, church-going, Bible-reading Christian, that would smack in the face like a wet fish, wouldn't it?
You know, I come from that background. I was raised Roman Catholic, named after John the Baptist originally. After had a bad day at work, I visited everyone. I danced, I sat still, I went to all of them. Got baptized a couple times, learned a lot. And along the way, this Neville Goddard guy popped up a few times. And what helped me make peace with exploring this was when Neville said, hey, your imagination is your savior. And just by looking through some lectures, it's like, you know, the way I get along with my neighbor is determined by what I imagine about me and them. The kind of money I make or don't make is determined by what I imagine about me and money. And you know what? I will crucify myself or save myself. So I could walk away from the G word, and I don't mind walking away from the G word. If we just go, right, I came here to give life to the lovely, and let's see what we can do. Because there's I got a concept of God. Someone else has a concept of God, and I tend to just say, listen, you know what? There's this thing called the big cheese, right? And then when it comes to the big cheese, this might sound cheesy to you, but how about if we just entertain? You ever notice the way you look at the world determines what you see?
Mm,
And if I can get them chatting there, oh, what does Neville say? I don't care what Neville says. Let's just talk a little bit.
yeah.
If you change the way you're seeing, you're going to change the way you're seeing. So,
Wonderful, mate. Now, back to this word feeling. Uh, when when you talk about and teach Neville Goddard's lessons on assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and his book titled Feeling is the Secret,
yeah.
what what is the confusion? What we think, okay, I have fallen into the trap of thinking the feeling is an emotion,
Yep.
but that's not the case, is it?
You know, this is great. It took me, I trained with Richard Bandler, the NLP stuff, and they make the same mistake. They will say literally, uh, when you're trying to figure it out, a feeling, a state is the same as an emotion. And we're going to have emotions. We're going to have emotions all over the place. And that's fine. Emotions are temporary. Uh, but when Neville says feeling is the secret, he talks about meaning. And so I get the electric bill. I live in Melbourne just like you. And I get the electric bill. And I go, gosh, golly, darn it, it's up another 20%. It's like every month it goes up, every 3 months it goes up another 20%. And they say, hey, we're doing our best, but you're screwed. I say, well, thanks for raising it up, right? And you know how real this is, right? And I go, rightio, man. But what meaning do I give that? Oh, I'm screwed. The electric bill's up 20%. Well, it's 20% for everyone. Now what? Maybe I get more resourceful, find more ways to give to my people. In Manifesting Mastery, that first lesson, the girls giggle, is a good one. Because the young, which is actually me, he's with his buddies, and there's some girls, and he decides I'm going to walk over and chat them up. And he starts walking over, and the girls look at each other, and they giggle, and they look back at him. And then everything shrinks, and he turns around, and he doesn't go. And the question is, why did he turn around? Well, he turned around not because they giggled, but because of what he imagined. And that changed his behavior, their behavior, his whole life. So when we talk about feeling is the secret, we get to notice, what meaning am I putting on this? There's a garden outside, and if my sweetheart puts the meaning on, that's an opportunity to be an artist. She'll go out there and be an artist. But if she puts meaning on it as in, I'm another day older, and I'll probably die in 20, 30 years, what's the point? She won't leave the house. And then her system will shut down. And we all can do this. So with feeling is the secret, it really comes to, like when Neville imagined himself out of the army, he didn't make a mind movie of his apartment. He laid down on his cot. In imagination, he woke up in his bed and he explored his apartment. He touched things, he looked at things, he heard things. He explored as if he were home. Then, as you know, he got kicked out. Neville, you're great. We're going to give you an honorable discharge. Go home. And there's the feeling. It's not, yeah, I'm home. It's that feeling of home, naturalness.
When so you studied NLP, and so you and I and others who have studied NLP are familiar with the three main predicates of visual, audio, and kinesthetic. And when I remember back to these experiences of Neville's that he writes about, either first person or about somebody else, the young girl on the tram and the tears. A lot of his experiences, the imagined experience and the feeling in the experience, is very kinesthetic. The hand on the rail of the boat going from Barbados, or no, when he's getting up onto right. You with me?
Yeah.
And then how he just. Are we all the same, or what's your main predicate in when you're imagining a scene? Are you more visual in it, auditory? Do you hear it more, or do you feel it in a kinesthetic sense?
Wow, this is a great one. This is going to shock you. Ready? For me, it all begins with a sniff. There's I'm the world's first fleshitarian, and so all I eat is flesh. Flesh and fat cooked on fire. And when I'm out there cooking up the bacon and the burgers, right?
I see it every day.
Yeah, you see it every day, right? I'm drawn into it. My ex-wife and I made up a formula because we had 11 cats. We didn't plan on having 11 cats. We had a couple and we brought in a pregnant mommy and we named the kittens. So now we got 11 cats. And we discovered in a 3-level house with 11 cats, you need 13 litter pans and you scoop them at least twice a day. So if you ever scoop cat shit, you're not gone. Right? You're gone. Right? So this brings us back to the producer and the sniff.
Yeah.
The first thing for me is, watch me. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I open up to that. And the second, it's sort of like if you go to Chinatown in New York City.
Yeah.
They leave all the windows open even in the wintertime because they want you to smell that stuff.
Yeah, right.
If you smell it, you'll be drug in. Right? You can't help it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it all begins with a sniff test that leads to a touch taste. That little taste is touch. So
Yeah.
there's got to be something that really brings it home, which is why I teach when people have problems with scenes, and I say, here's what I want you to do. Right? You can't figure out a scene that implies your wish is fulfilled, implies
Yeah.
is important. I say, listen,
Mm.
do you drink coffee? Yep. Okay, cool. So you can drink coffee and be lonely, or you can drink coffee and know that the person you love is right over there. You don't got to see them, you don't got to hear them, but you can drink that one sip of coffee that fast, and I can smell that coffee, I can taste that. Mm. And an imagine like that fast that implies I'm in a yummy relationship, beautiful. And we can apply that anywhere. Uh, and it's got to be that fast and that simple. But
Mm.
see how I've engaged sniff, touch, taste. I can see the coffee. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
You've heard of amphantasia, the inability to see in your imagination.
No, but I'm very interested because for a reason. Tell me what's it called? Amphantasia.
Amphantasia. I'm redneck,
Right.
so I'm going to say it wrong. We can
Yeah.
go.
No. Well, I'm in good company then. Carry on.
Yeah. So people they email me and they say, 20, I can't see anything in my imagination. I said, brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You watch my videos? I go, yeah, cool. How do you know I'm not your mother? Right? Is she prettier than me or uglier than me? Like, does she got more facial hair than I do? I don't know. You tell me. I go, what are you on about? It says, how do you know I'm not your mother? Well, you don't look like her. How do you know I don't look like her? They see something in there, but they don't know they see it.
All right.
So it's sort of like, the difference between milk and water, right? Well, by the way, Mike, yeah, you go to the local Coles or Woolies or something, right? You know where the milk
Mm.
is?
Mm. In the milk fridge.
Yeah, the milk fridge, right? Everyone knows this. Even if they say, well, I can't see anything in imagination. Right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know the difference. You're not describing it with verbals. You don't have to touch it. You know. And Neville himself said Neville's primary at first was auditory.
Oh, right.
And so he says, I'm going to really screw their quote up, but it's like, dude, when you can see an imagination, holy mother of wow. That's me impersonating Neville, right? But he really says something like that because he was hearing. And you can notice he'll say, yeah, when I got off the phone, I sat there and waited till I heard what I wanted to hear. Hear somebody congratulate you, predetermine what you would hear, and hear that as though it were true. So hearing was really big for him. And I think it's big for a lot of people because, like, if I go up to Victoria and get next to her ear and go, yo, baby. Ooh.
That's okay. Now, 20.
Yeah.
We do have some live viewers with us, and we love our live viewers, and we thank them for staying with us. And also for those watching the recording or listening to the audio on one of the podcast channels. But for those watching
Beauty.
2020 right now live, if you've got a question, would it be okay if we asked our viewers if they've got a question to pop it in the chat?
Toss them up, and I see Dr. Donna's here. Yo, Dr.
Yeah.
Donna.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Donna. Yes, she's interested in the sniff test, scratch and sniff. That's a different story. Yeah, if you've got a question you'd like to put to 20, just pop it into chat. Now, let me just totally botch something here.
Cool.
So the idea of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled via an imaginal act. To do this, now I'm purposely botching this because you'll then correct it and then explain why it
Beauty.
should be corrected. Okay. So I'm going to prepare. I'm going to have an imaginal act because I want to assume this feeling and grab this feeling and bring it from there to here and then to now and live in the end. So
Beauty.
first of all, I light incense. I light the candles. I sit in the lounge room in the lotus position, and I prepare myself for a 60-minute session of imagination. Have
Beauty.
I got it? Have I got it right, or
Well,
does it not?
slightly out of order. So you got to
Yeah.
make sure you get in the lotus position first, then light the candles because you'll use the candles to light the incense. Right? So order is really, really important. Yeah, it's wild, Mike. I just shared in one of my little chat thingies a quote of Neville's that basically talks about you can imagine while taking a walk. You don't got to blow a gasket. You know me. I make up stuff all the time, right? Because I'm a principle guy, and the best way I find to make principles or to teach principles is to make shit up. So sorry about swearing.
No, go for it.
So we made up something that Chat GPT gets wrong every time. It's the Mr. 2020 Power Walk, right? So every day I walk the fence line. It takes me 7 minutes because we got the newest and longest fence on Coringle Drive in Eltham.
All right.
So every day we walk it back, like 7 minutes, right? While I do that, there's a quote of Neville's that comes to mind. And Neville Goddard says, if you believe you will not pass another without lifting their cross. And that tells me something. That tells me I don't need the lotus, the candles, or the incense. My body is holy ground. And so when I walk, and I walk, and a tradie van goes by, I just imagine that guy making some money and having fun. And then another car goes by, and for whatever reason, I imagine, that one playing with Legos and their kid. If something pops in, I imagine it. Every now and then a car goes by, it's like, all right, no biggie. But meanwhile, I'll be walking, and you'll pop in. I go, oh, wow. So for me, it's whoever passes me, whoever pops into mind. And what happens when you do the 2020 Power Walk, trademark, ChatGPT always gets it wrong. It reveals something. You're the operant power. Neville Goddard says you're the operant power of God. So we can scratch the G word. You're the operant power. It doesn't operate itself. And so while I walk, I imagine lovingly for that one, for that one. Oh, here comes that crazy lady wearing the scrubs. That one. Found out she's a doctor. Cool. So one day we're taking the power walk. And I've done this in all kind of outfits. Sometimes I'm walking in my dressing gown, got my red hat on or something like that. And I'm up there one day, I'm just walking, and tradie van goes past. So, all right. So I go to the Eltham swimming gym, and I go in to do my kung fu in the gym, and there's a painter there. And I do my stuff, I finish up, say, morning. He goes, morning. He goes, can I ask you a question? I said, absolutely anything, pal. He goes, were you walking on Kringle Drive this morning? Said, yes, sir. Wearing a dressing gown? Yep. Red hat? Yes, sir. He goes, yeah, I drove past you on the way here. Right? I said, how's the job? He goes, it's a good job, making some money. And that's rare for me to get that fast of a feedback, but it was nice. Because a lot of people walk and they go, oh, look at that, another car with a burned out headlight. Times are tough. People aren't getting their headlights replaced. And we can give life to that, adding meaning to the headlight. Or I can go, wow, hey, there goes a tradie at 5 in the morning. He's crazy, right? But he wants to paint the gym before the people get there. So he's finishing up by the time I roll in, and we have a chat. And if we play like that, we realize, what don't I need? If an imaginal act is a movement within God, and I see, in Pennsylvania we call them padiddles. If I see a padiddle going down the highway, a car with one headlight burned out, and I just imagine like lovingly for that person, and I don't know why I imagine whatever I imagine, I'm a better human being, and so are they, because I'm acknowledging the divinity within.
Yeah. I love it. Something else now. I watched you and Victoria. I watched your recording. Your latest recording was a 90-minute recording. I didn't get all the way through. I got over an hour's worth.
Yep.
I think it was Saturday morning. Yes, Saturday morning. So it was from your Friday live show.
Yep.
Actually, I'll come back to that. I'm thinking about technology. There's something I do want to ask you also on this discussion, 20, about your experience as a digital creator, because that's something you've been doing and you do very well, and you're prolific across different platforms online. And so I just want to touch on that too, because I think
Cool.
our viewers will be of some interest in that, and there may be some pointers there. But on that show, you mentioned about the three big things we use as internet marketers to find our audience: those looking for money, those looking for health, and those looking for relationships and love. And you actually, I'll say discredited, but you poo-pooed, you, and you went on to explain something very well. Would you mind, can you recap on what that was? Can you recall that part of your discussion from last Friday live with Victoria?
I'm so big on this because there's three universal problems, right? It's money, health, relationships. Relationships can be sexual, so we can fold that in. So, three universal problems. I just turned 60. It's time for me to have an age problem, right? So what's that going to be? Oh, is it going to be I don't have enough money to retire? Is it that I'm getting older? Does the burp not do that anymore? What's it going to be, right? So we have universal problems, and that's fine. When it comes to marketing, it's probably a good idea that you address those things. On the other hand, we all have unique desires. There is nobody on the planet that has the same desires that I do. In other words, what lights my fire. So I've got a project I'm working on right now called nearlifeexperience.org. Because I had a near-death experience, and there ain't no near about it, right? And everybody wants to hear about that. I'm like, yeah. Ready? Tunnel, people, peace, all that crap. Back in the body, this place stinks, right? So there's the near-death experience. I'm going to finish in a second. I'm more interested in, because I've done this, what's it like to have and not have a near-life experience? So people will not live their lives because of universal problems. And they will not live their lives because they're not acknowledging, I've got a unique passion that I'm nuts about. By the way, you're like Madonna. Madonna reinvented herself like 17 times or something, according to Gene Andrum.
Wow.
You keep reinventing yourself. And I adore that about you, because it's not like I got a project and I'll scrap it. You sort of go, I got a project and it's evolving into this. I've got a project and it's evolving into that. So you keep evolving and exploring your passions. When you do that, imaginal people who are explorers do not need motivation. People who are non-imaginative need carrot and stick. In other words, I'm going to beat you, or there's a donut.
Yeah.
And that always leads to stress, and it burns you out. And then you got procrastination. But imaginal people go, hey, 20, yo, Mike, what's up? Want to chat? Yeah. Can't help it, because we've had that. Wouldn't it be cool? And that's what we do. So as marketers, we've got to acknowledge, people have three universal problems. We can distill down with that and just notice, so what does Burger King solve, or Hungry Jack's, whatever we call it here, because it's shit food. But people go, but what's that unique thing that it's not a problem or a pain that I solve, but a possibility that I invite people to? I think we've got to acknowledge both sides, and it works really well. So
I've got it. 20. We've got one of our viewers. I'm not sure how this is pronounced. If I get it wrong, forgive me. Omixental has joined and has said that they've got a question. So please just type your question in the chat there if you got that question, and we can give it to 20. 20 or 20 can read it. All right. Now about the internet marketing side of Mr. 2020. So let's just move into that because you're prolific across the internet and have been for many years. I have a question with regards to that because you're on all the platforms that I see. You've got an audio podcast, you've got your video shows that you do. You do them with your wife, Victoria. How in the hell do you organise your time to fit all that in? How do you manage it? That's what I want to know.
Google Calendar is my best friend because I am as ADD as you can get.
Okay.
Second bit, I really find that I've got to speak from fire. In other words, whatever's on my mind is what I'll toss out there. And sometimes I'm a warm, cuddly kind of guy. Sometimes I'm a drop the nukes kind of guy. But whatever it's got to be, it's if I have to work to do it, I won't do it. But if it's playing with possibility, if I can invite, years ago, I've got a couple phrases. One of them is
Yeah.
my thing is I want more playtime and more playmates.
Mm.
My marketing motto, there's three parts to it, but I don't only remember two right now, is I need to be easy to find and impossible to escape from. So I play tech to the best of my ability to just put little bits here and there because I think the little bits are worth their power snacks. And if somebody goes, hey, I like this guy, I want to work with him, or I don't like this guy, he's a weirdo, good on you, man. Yeah, put your own weird stuff out. We got to do that. So the most valuable thing I can do, I do first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
By afternoon, we see what happens. But
I know you spend I know you spend at least part of the midday cooking that meat because you're a meat vegetarian. What is it again?
the world's first fleshitarian.
Fleshitarian. Did you register that? Have you got fleshitarian.com registered yet?
I do.
You do.
Sooner or later, we're coming out with swag, but I keep
Now,
correct. So
now, as you know, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued about the diet side of things. Educate me and our viewers if they're interested. Now, you may or may not know I had a heart attack that nearly knocked me over, knocked me out. The tunnel. Talk about the tunnel. I was there too, and so I had open heart surgery, quadruple bypass. And so the diet's corrected, and we're on anti-cholesterol. But okay, I see you cooking up all this what looks to me like fat
yeah, you
with
bet.
your meat, and I say to my wife Emily, 2020's losing weight appears to be, but he's eating all this fatty shit. How's he getting away with it? And she says because you 20 probably doesn't eat anything white like potato or rice. Am I am, am I right?
Absolutely.
Is that it?
The weirdest thing happened, Mike. Whenever I had my Christmas Day epiphany, and rebuilt and imagined doing kung fu, so my hip was rebuilt, I lost all interest in eating vegetables and carbs. Not a little bit. I tried. I really did because my mom. No, my mom just popped in up there. Because Victoria and I, we have a garden. In the garden, we got vegetables. And I tried for about 2 weeks to eat a little bit of vegetable, and I couldn't do it. So, and again, everything's at everyone's own risk, right?
Yeah.
From what I read about, if your body is transitioned to ketones, so you're not taking in carbs, the cholesterol goes to your extremities and stuff and fixes stuff, and life is good. On the other hand, if you're eating white things, that causes the inside of the blood vessels to get a little jaggedy, and the cholesterol will try to get on there and repair, and it'll clot, and then you got problems. So, and again, I just read what I read, I do what I do, and there's different people to say to get a CIC score. What's considered high cholesterol now was actually healthy cholesterol in the 70s before we had dementia. I don't know. My big thing is No matter what people say, well, what you're talking about is anecdotal evidence. It is for me. I feel good,
Yeah.
and I just tell people you need to do what feels good for you, and plug into the people that support where you want to play.
Since you've been on the daily meat diet,
Yeah, yeah.
20, have you lost weight? You appear to have lost weight over the last 12 to 18 months. Is that right?
Well, so I had a problem, Mike. So this all started December 25th, 2023. And after about 2, 3 weeks, I couldn't eat anything, no vegetable, no nothing but meat. And here's what happened. I got my nephew Tim in the UK. He thinks in stones. I got Americans. They think in pounds. I got Australians. We think in metrics. And I started measuring how much weight I lost in chicken legs because a chicken leg is a universal measurement. So I could go to Woolies and load my cart full of chicken legs for the puppies and go, my God, according to the scale, that's how many chicken legs I lost. And I've lost a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
it,
How
it's,
much
it,
have you lost? How many chicken legs have you lost?
I couldn't tell you now, but I started, uh, let's just make up a number, 40 pounds right now, roughly. 40 pounds, 50 pounds. I think I lost a little bit. Well, the problem is I discovered that when you eat a lot of protein, you pack on muscle really easy. So my musculature, if you look at that from 5 years ago to now, and my face from 5 years ago to now, radically different.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've lost a lot of ugly, gained some pretty, and I think I'm handsomer. Yeah,
Yeah, without a doubt, you are, my friend. Without a doubt. Well, 20. Um, Finally, moving towards the conclusions because time always flies when
you
we're
bet.
having fun, and you and I always have fun when we have this chat. I think this is the third or fourth time we've been together, and I love it. I really got into your teaching of Neville Goddard with a course I bought from you, Manifesting Mastery, which was a 90-day email course.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic. But I know in 2025, last year, you kind of upgraded that to a
You bet.
new version called Manifesting Mastery Deluxe. In fact, I think it's at manifestingmasterydeluxe.com, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And you were talking about this the other day. Uh, I don't hesitate to recommend our viewers, our listeners, if they've not explored Mr. 2020 and how he does what he does, apart from all his social media stuff and channels and that, is to, if you're going to invest, you must talk about the difference between spending and cost and investing in things. That could be a great way, because I know that's one of your things, to invest. Invest in Mr. 2020 and Victoria's course, Manifesting Mastery Deluxe, at manifestingmasterydeluxe.com. Now, I don't have that one, and this is not a paid commercial. It's not, I don't get anything from Mr. 2020 by recommending this. This is coming from my heart. But if it's anything like the original, no. Um, I don't want to. No, I don't want to. I don't want. Uh, Manifesting Mastery Deluxe. Is it? It's not just. It's not an email course over 90 days now, is it? It's more advanced.
This is really. I tell you what happened. Uh, Life. I've so we put out the original MM. I don't know, 13, 14, 15 years ago now, something like that. So it's a teenager, and it's done well. Helped a lot of people,
No.
and the world has changed since then, and I've changed. So I love the lessons. So we kept all the original lessons, and what we did is we added a new 7 minute video to every day because I'm older, and it's like, hey Mike, how you doing on today's lesson? So you get the original lesson, the original audio, and you get me talking. Yeah, this is how I do this now. This is what I'd want you to look at now. So you get me now and me back then, which is really a cool experience to me. But and we tossed a ton of bonuses, all that stuff. But the most important thing is we made a little private Facebook group for the members, and every 90 days we do a live call. So you buy the course once, it's yours forever. You do get an email every day for the first 90 days, and it sends you to a login site, so only you can access your stuff, and you can leave comments or ask questions. You get the private Facebook group where you can come in and say, hey guys, this is what I got going on. This is pretty cool. Or I'm really confused with this one. And you'll have like 100 people there to chat with you if you want. But we're finding those every 90 days until one of us dies. We'll do these calls with the group. We just had one this past weekend. And for me, it's the coolest thing because the people that have been around that got that one, or that have been with us for 10 years that also bought that one, we get together and I go, right, here's what's on my mind. Let's explore this as a group. And we have a great time. And we're finding people in community, Mike. I think Facebook, for the most part, except for my groups, has really gone into just a lot of advertising and stuff. And that's okay. They're doing what they're doing. But I have some groups there until I find a better place to put groups. I'll stay there.
Yeah.
Substack, I watch people like you build community around what you do. I think as human beings, we're actually craving connection in a world that's drowning us in data.
Yeah.
And I just think it's cool to go, all right, hey, we got a little Facebook group. You can reach out to me anytime. And every 90 days we get together as a group and have a chat. If you can't make it, it's recorded and all blah, blah, blah. But I just want people to connect. Because if you connect with a human, and I watch you do this with the people you interview, you don't just interview them, you connect with them. And that has us connect with them and with you. And we're starving for that. So above this whole thing of there's universal problems, Mike, there's relationships, there's money, and there's health, there's personal passions, which is important. But I really get humanity at this point in time. They just want to connect.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about my top secret word?
Please do.
I got in trouble one day at the pool. I complimented a lifeguard because she was great with kids. So here's the lifeguard, here's the supervisor, and I said, listen, this young lady is awesome with kids. Can you give her a star, a raise, a candy bar, anything? I just want to acknowledge she's great with kids. And this young lady lit up and thanked me, and the staff actually cringed a little bit. 25 minutes later, I got 3 staff members at the side of the pool saying, 20, we got to talk. Like, what's up? When there's 3 against 1, like my radar goes off. Like, talk to me, gang. Well, the lifeguard you call them. Yes. They have a preferred pronoun. Go on.
Oh, cool.
Their preferred pronoun is they. Right? We just thought you'd want to know this. Fair enough. Can I ask you guys a question? Were they upset? Were they offended in any way? And I got, no, they really took it on. They appreciated that. So what's the problem? And so this did my head in, Mike, because I go, right, so 60-year-old white guy, born with the parts, whatever. I love everyone, you know that. I don't care what anyone's preferences are. Yeah, a noodle's a noodle is a noodle. And I just go, right. And so I identify now as a phenomenon. I think it's a fun thing to do.
Sorry, forgive me for laughing, mate. Go on. Yeah, you're a phenomenon. I can't even spell.
And here's my one word. Ready? I hated this word. But now everywhere I go, I walk in and I go, yo. And people go, yo. I say, sup, how you doing, right? And I've bypassed all the crap.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm just going, yo. And so I don't got to do a pronoun. I don't have to say, gentlemen, ladies. I don't know. I don't get it. I just get to go, yo. And they love this connection. I hated this word because back in the old days, it was like, yo.
Yeah.
Right? Like way back in the old days, you'd remember, right?
Yeah, sure do.
And now I've turned yo into the most personal greeting in the world. And if I could give that to everyone, I would, and I just have.
Oh, mate, that is so 2020. That is fantastic. Actually answers a question because I think I read Victoria, or did I hear Victoria mentioning about your yo? And I'm thinking, I wonder what that's about. Now I've got the answer. Well, there's so much more that we could have talked about. They could have talked about your pillow of possibilities, or the possibilities pillow. We could have talked about did you do your Joseph Goddard this morning? But I know you would have. We could have, maybe we can talk about these things next time. We could have talked about how if you're down to your last $10, spend it like as if it's it's a dried leaf and you're the owner of the forest. All these wonderful cliches and little reminders of things. We can maybe do it next time, 20. But for now, I'm very respectful of your time and your time management. I really appreciate you joining us again, 20, and sharing some of your very unique wisdom and your whole perspective on not only 2020, not only Neville Goddard, but on life in general. You've always got a bright smile. Your morning podcasts with the in the 5:30 in the morning in the hot tub with the bubbles in the background. I'm sure you've got that on a tape recorder. But we absolutely love you, 20, and thank you so much for joining us. And let me just say that website again, because I do want our viewers to visit and have a look. It's manifestingmasterydeluxe.com. Of all the different websites that you could visit to find out more about what 20 does and the programs and his books and courses, manifestingmasterydeluxe.com would be the one I would recommend that you have a look at. 20, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
And to our pleasure, and to our viewers who have been with us live, and for those watching the replay or listening to the replay on audio on one of the podcast channels, thank you very much for joining us. Until next time we meet, be good to yourself and be good to others. 20, I'm going to just close the window here because I'm on my phone and the button to end this is hidden and I can't find it. So I'll just go off. You can go off and we'll take care of ending the video on the editing. Is that okay?
We'll chat soon, Mike. Love you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise. Right back at you. Yo, bye-bye.
Yo.